Project Cars 2 really takes you know, kind of a foundational base that was very strong, and now ramps it up even more with even greater level of accuracy, simulating actual weather conditions down to the level of how those conditions affect the track. You know, when rain happens on a different track, the topography of that track dictates a certain way the rain puddles form. Those puddles forming alter the way the drivers need to actually be successful around the course. You know, all these things are taken into consideration at a level that's never really been seen before. And Project Cars 2 really embodies that whole nuts and bolts, A to Z, everything that's involved with getting inside, you know, the wheel of a car and taking it for a ride. We're looking to release later this year. It's coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, as well as Steam. So, you know, another really interesting fact about this game compared to some of the other racing games out there is that this is really one that's, you know, available for everybody. No matter what platform you have, you can play. This game has always kind of set a very high benchmark for really leveraging top-of-the-line technology. You can play the game on, you know, 4K PC resolution with Oculus VR. I mean, really out of the box, it's a really major showpiece to the quality and the beauty of the game.
One thing that we're really excited by with Project Cars 2 are the advancements that we've made with the handling, specifically the tire model. In Project Cars 1, we innovated with a completely new way to simulate tires and the handling of tires. But the system was so new, it took us a little bit of time to learn how to use it. There were many things that we wanted to improve. Notably, we wanted to make sure that if you're driving over the edge, or if you're doing something like a drift, which you can do with any car, the feeling is more correct and you can actually feel what the car is doing and control it. One thing that a lot of the racing drivers who are involved with our development or who have tested the game for us, they found that when you started to lose the car or you're driving a bit too crazy, you'd spin out in Project Cars 1. In Project Cars 2, it's a lot more of a progressive feeling, and as a result, you can have more fun. Well, it's quite interesting when you look at young racing drivers, all of them practice using simulations in between rounds. It's a lot less expensive to go into your front room where you've got a sim setup and practice for your next race than it is to go and rent a racing track. So we find that a lot of young racing drivers are using simulation software like Project Cars to practice and hone their craft. So we gathered together a group of 7 racing drivers from different disciplines. We have 2 rallycross champions. We have some drivers who've returned who worked on Project Cars 1, but we added a lot of new champions from different disciplines to work on different aspects of the handling. And what we like is for them to tell us that we're doing a really bad job and that things are wrong, right? They say, hey, on this track I'm going 20 miles an hour faster in this corner, or the car is too quick in this corner, or the feeling isn't right. So we're getting as many racing drivers as we can find. Some who are permanent on our team, 7 drivers who work with us year in, year out. And then we also have factory drivers who come and test the cars. So we may find a supercar manufacturer and we'll say to them, hey, not only are you going to look at how the car looks in the game, because they like to approve this, but we're going to ask their test driver to test the real life car and make sure it handles exactly like the real thing. And sometimes they say, hey, the sound isn't right on that, or it slides around too much. The real car isn't like that, and then we'll go and change it. If I had to choose a new track, one that we're very excited by is Fuji Speedway in Japan. It's a very legendary track. And as you drive around, you can see Mount Fuji in the background. And depending on one new feature we have is we have, for every track, there's 4 seasons. So when you're driving around Fuji Speedway, you can look at Mount Fuji and you can see what season it is by the amount of snow that's on it, which is pretty crazy. I'd say my favorite car and track combination is taking a Indy car, just hot lapping it around Long Beach, especially in VR. Because in VR, you've got depth perception with the 3D effect, and it's Long Beach is a street circuit. So you want to put the car just a millimeter from the wall as you're flying down these streets. And with VR, it's just an incredibly immersive experience.
So going from Project Cars 1, which was mostly asphalt or tarmac, to having loose material, like for rallycross, we had to upgrade some and replace some physics. One of those things in particular is the driveline. We had an all-new driveline for Project Cars 2. We needed to be able to handle higher impulse and shocks in a more organic, natural way that we get hitting loose material going from asphalt into deep mud or sand. We simulated what we needed for Project Cars 1, which was for asphalt racing. Now we need to be able to simulate loose material and mixes of loose material where the physical behavior emerges from lower level core simulation.